Breaking news out of Beijing, is it not, Mr. Maxey?
Yes, there is. There are 22 little neighborhoods that have been shut down. Essentially, the entire city has been put under a military lockdown. Taxis are not allowed to leave the city. Buses have been stopped. Various cities
schools are closed.
Schools are closing. Movie theaters, everything. We're right back to where we were.
When the Chinese Communist Party in China, ladies and gentlemen, when they shut down the schools, that's when you know it's big time. The education is number one over there. It's all regimented, but it's number one. So they shut it down. Now it's spreading to Shanghai, too. What's in Shanghai?
They're spreading to Shanghai and down into Hubei province. They're saying that they only have 1 or 2 cases in those places, but there are people coming from Beijing. Now, here's the very interesting thing. They claim originally, it came from a seafood market in Beijing, right?
Yeah,
and we said yesterday that...
From Norwegian salmon.
Right. They're now not going to buy Norwegian salmon because they're claiming it could have come from them. They are asking the Canadian government to give an analysis of apparent parasites in their salmon. And they claim that now this virus that's in Beijing is a more virulent virus than the one that they normally had. They claim it's the same virus that came from Europe and the United States. It's not a Chinese virus, and it may have come over in cold storage attached to pork or beef from the U.S.
Yeah, U.S. for a trade deal. There's all the trade deal. And they must be reading the New York Times, because the New York Times says our thing came from Europe. They didn't actually, the science evidence database New York Times didn't take it back to the original source. And that's how I got to Milan, but that's, we digress.
The New York Times also had another article today that said that China imported more pork in the last 2 months than they ever have in history. So this is back to what we talked about. The New York Times.
This is because that they had the swine flu in August and September last year. They killed 50% of the pork population that you never heard about. WHO really didn't inform anybody about. It was another disaster, right? We've got.
Well, I just want to mention what we talked about in the break was the new report that's coming out of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, the Republicans of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, saying that quote, until the CCP agrees to cooperate with the WHO, other countries, and the international scientific community, it will be impossible to gather concrete evidence needed to prove or disprove whether the virus leaked out of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and squarely pointing the fingers at China for a cover-up here.
Well, ironically, in the same time, they now claim that, we have a little bit of difficulty because, again, they went in and completely sanitized the market before they actually did any investigation. Right. Now, one thing that's interesting, Global Times chief editor Hugh Zhijin said, quote, control measures have been in place in communities. 3 officials accountable have been dismissed. Clearly, you see, there's always some functionary.
Ube too, right?
Functionary who's responsible.
When they can't cover up the lies anymore, guys' heads end up on pikes.
And then he says, as a little catcall to the United States, U.S. politicians will likely see a miracle that Beijing can have 0 new cases in 1 month.